This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, Rehabilitation Hospital of New England, and North Shore Community College. If you have the will to attend college, we have the way for you to earn your degree.
Hello and welcome to LCTV News. Thanks again to my colleague Dave Riley for taking over last week. This week you're back to having to listen to me. We have a star-studded lowdown as former NBA player and Lynn native Antonio Anderson came on to discuss his brand new foundation. Here's the news for Friday, May 26th, 2023. As part of an initiative to raise awareness of senior safety, the Senior Center and Police Department Bike Patrol team held the first Lynn Seniors Mile Walk. They held signs with statements such as "We are seniors, drivers please slow down." According to Lieutenant Rick Connick, they have had many traffic complaints from the seniors during their monthly visits to the center. Some potential ideas were to station an officer at the library, prohibit parking within 10 feet of crosswalks, or bumping out curbs so drivers can better see pedestrians trying to cross. There are currently 6 state-funded pedestrian grants held by the traffic unit. Of equal importance is making sure pedestrians are aware of their surroundings, because drivers are not always doing what they are supposed to, according to Connick. The REAL program hosted an early literacy night at Manning Field last week on the 17th. The kids were able to run around and play, as well as listen to a storyteller. Here is more from the event.
This is a literacy fair for early childhood education, and I've had the pleasure of coming here. This is my second year doing my storytelling for children. I usually do I do 20 different characters. Today they chose Mother Goose, and last year was Miss Frizzle.
Why this location?
They like this location because it's big, and the kids can kind of run around and play. There's the DJ, so it's not too overwhelming, so it's spread out. And as you can see, there's a lot of different people that are here supporting the importance of literacy. They bring their brochures and explain what they do. So it's a great event. I love being part of it. I go to schools, and when I do Mother Goose, I explain to them that these rhymes you've been hearing since you were born, and as you get older, there are more rhymes and more rhymes, and they are part of literacy. The rhyming is something that we can hear, and then as the children get older, they can start to recite them, and then they can learn to read them. I hope that they go home and they ask somebody in their family to read to them, because sometimes I go to the inner city and the kids don't know any rhymes, and it breaks my heart. So parents, please read to your children, even when they're babies, even when they're toddlers. They will remember it, they will hear it, it's important for them. So read, read, read.
After a week of effort and 400 acres of burned woods, the Lynn Fire Department announced the completion of the fire on May 22nd. The rain over the weekend finished off any remnants, as work had already decreased significantly by the end of last week for the fire crew. It was announced back on the 16th that the 8 fires were intentionally set, and the State Police Fire and Explosive Investigation Unit is still seeking information regarding them. Some trail restrictions are still in place, but there is no longer any danger to the houses or property near the woods. All of Lynn Woods, aside from the Overlook Trail, are once again open to the public. Also last week on the 18th, a fireworks fundraiser was hosted at Raleigh's Tavern. Those in attendance could buy scratch tickets, water bottles, and various other items to raise money for the annual fireworks show, Take a look.
Hello, my name is Coco Allenson. I'm the Ward 3 City Councilor of the City of Lynn. We're here at Raleigh's to raise funds for our annual fireworks events here at the City of Lynn. And it's just amazing. I would like to say thank you to each and everyone who came here, headed by our Associate Commissioner, Lisa Nerick, and her team. As you can see, we have a table where people could buy scratch tickets, buy some water bottles to raise money for our fireworks.
Adding to the story, according to Allison Perry of Lynn Community Development, they raised $845 on the scratch ticket raffle in total.
So we've been doing this for quite some time. There's different mayors and different initiative, but having this event is really to bring all the community together. And I would like to thank all of our folks from our community development who's been volunteering their time, and people from our DPW and City Hall as well, our planners who are here, and all the new Lynn residents who are here. It's just a beautiful sight to see that the community are here.
For LCTV News, I'm Josh Englander.
On Wednesday, the 24th, a 16-year-old student was stabbed in the back by a 17-year-old suspect at Lynn Classical High School. Officers responded to the incident and took the suspect into custody, charging them with assault to murder and carrying a dangerous weapon on school grounds. The student was transported to Salem Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, according to Lynn Police. The school went into lockdown before parents were able to pick up their students as police continued to investigate. According to preliminary reports, it appears to be an isolated incident, and there is no information to indicate that any other students or faculty at Classical are in danger. In a statement released by Mayor Gerald Nicholson, quote, "We share our sympathies for the victim and his family and hope for a speedy recovery," end quote. A Haitian flag raising took place at City Hall last Friday, where members of the community could come out and celebrate their heritage. Also in attendance were several city and state officials. Here's a clip from the event.
On behalf of the Haitian communities and also the board members, I'm delighted to extend a warm welcome to all of you for joining us in celebrating Haitian Flags Day at the City Hall of Lynn, Massachusetts.
Thank you so much for putting this together, this really special occasion for us to be able to mark Haitian independence. Every time we do this, I learn something new about how intertwined the history of the Haitian Republic and the moment for Haitian independence is to the story of the Americas and intertwined with our country as well. And so it's, I think, particularly important for us to be able to reflect on that and really to celebrate the independence, to celebrate the incredible contributions of the Haitian community to this city. We want to be there for you.
The VA clinic in Lynn was bought by the Economic Development and Industrial Corporation, EDIC, with the initial lease set to end in September. Currently, the clinic and EDIC are in talks for a new multi-year lease with the goal of having it signed by the end of June. Keeping the clinic running is a top priority, as 2,000 veterans use the services offered by the VA, according to Mayor Gerald Nicholson and EDIC Executive Director Jim Cowdell. It was in danger of closing back in March of 2022 off a recommendation by the Veterans Affairs Bedford Healthcare System to move the clinic out of Lynn to a larger location. EDIC stepped in to buy the building, as city and state officials also work to show how vital it is to have the clinic remain in Lynn. The Lynn Hispanic Scholarship Fund held their annual gala on the 19th, which acts as both their largest fundraiser and a way to celebrate students receiving scholarships this year. Here is more.
16 students were recipients of the 2023 Lynn Hispanic Scholarship. I'm very happy. I'm very surprised with all the recipients that got it, and I'm just like honored to be part of it.
KIPP Academy's Angela Palma says this scholarship will help alleviate some financial burden.
It's definitely a financial help, but I also feel like this scholarship is going to bring me a lot of connections, and I've also met a lot of amazing people today at this gala.
And Hispanic Scholarship Fund President Vicky Rivera says assisting students from all 5 high schools is key for their future.
We know there's so many young Latino students in the Lynn Public Schools, at KIPP, at St. Mary's, and our goal is to be able to help Lynn youth.
For Palma, she will be attending Tufts University in the fall.
When I chose my school, I really liked that it was in the area, but I also am interested in the political field, so the school offered a lot of help and also financially as well.
Rivera hopes more students apply for the scholarships in the future.
The value of the work that we're trying to do is to encourage more young people to get educated. The reason many families come to this country is to have better opportunities for their youth, and now you are in that position where you can take advantage of it.
With LCTV, I'm Mukalaka Bongo.
Massachusetts has been providing extra SNAP benefits for residents since additional federal COVID SNAP benefits ended back in March. However, these funds will be ending in June. Emergency SNAP elements were available from March of 2020 to February of 2023, but the state continued to supply these benefits for an additional 3 months. Those who have SNAP benefits have been receiving their regular amounts, with the extra funding coming as a separate payment. Beginning in June, everyone on SNAP is going back to the amount they received before the extra federal and state aid. Lynn Public School students got the opportunity to share projects they have been working on, ranging from transportation to safety in schools for Civics Day. This is all part of a larger initiative to include students more when creating policies or hiring new staff. Take a look.
Civics Day. This is an exciting day for you. Many of us had the opportunity of visiting classrooms and hearing your presentations and hearing your voices.
Today is a special day. Today is the Civics Project and the presentations by all our students in middle school and high school. It's a great opportunity for anyone to come and really hear our students' voices and their thoughts around issues in our community and in our schools and solutions to those issues. And it's just wonderful to listen to their activism, their voices, their thoughts, their concerns. They all have kind of their own areas that they want to focus in on. There was one around bathrooms and the safety in bathrooms, another one around transportation. I know that at the middle school level there's a couple that are on safety of the schools and lockdowns. Since we've been doing this, the students really have produced some great thinking points for us as adults, and we are including more of them into the conversation, which is probably the proudest piece to the Civics Day, is that a lot of our schools are now including our students, and it's sad that I'm saying this, but it's good that we're changing it. Students are having a seat at the table now in hiring of staff, in talking through problems, in finding solutions, and it's just great to watch.
Raw Artworks held their annual film screening at the Lynn Auditorium on Tuesday the 23rd. 40 students from the film school got the chance to see their hard work on the big screen in front of instructors, family, and friends. Here's a clip from the event.
It is a pleasure and an honor to welcome everyone to Raw Artworks Reel-to-Reel film screening. Muy bienvenidos sean. It is truly a joyous occasion to see our Raw youth, families, and community of stakeholders and supporters coming together to celebrate our youth. Staff and youth worked extremely hard to produce the films you will see tonight. Lots of incredible films and deep themes.
I am so proud to see all the students' work come together. When I was a kid here, we did the film screenings at the PPD Essex Museum, and we always had overflow audience. So I'm really, really happy that we're in City Hall, so we can actually have like everybody that wants to come see the films.
Hi, I'm Lucas Smith. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be in this Love ad, and I'm gonna play the starring role of Indiana Jones in an Indiana Jones Raw Artworks trailer. I'm very excited to see a movie based off Indiana Jones on TV, because Indiana Jones, my favorite movies growing up when I was little.
My film is more of a mix of a nature documentary with a cause for it. You basically learn about a specific type of reptile, not this particular one, but it is quite similar.
And how do you feel knowing that it's going to be put on the big screen?
Very excited and very nervous too. Raw is a really important part of so many people's lives. It's like such an important part of my experience growing up in the city of Lynn. I was really, really excited to come back and be able to try and give back a little bit to something that meant so much to me when I was growing up.
On deck, the sports update. The Moynihan student athletes for March and April have been released, and Lynn Classical's own Ava Thurman was one of 2 named for the month of March. Thurman led her team to a perfect 20-0 record, earning Player of the Year honors and averaging more than 10 points a game. She sports a grade point average of over 4.0 and is now a 2-time Moynihan Student Athlete of the Month, having also earned the honor in March of last year. Thurman will be attending Suffolk University in the fall, where she will play basketball and pursue a degree in sports management. In girls lacrosse, St. Mary's had a 15-6 victory over Boston Latin, followed by an impressive 10-9 road win versus Malden Catholic. Against Boston, 8 Spartans tacked on points, led by Casey Litwin, who had hat tricks in both goals and assists. An intercity rivalry under the lights on the 19th between the Spartans and Lynn Jets in boys lacrosse did not disappoint. It was a back-and-forth battle, tied 5-5, until St. Mary's broke through the Jets' strong defense, scoring in the final 2 minutes and again in the fourth to become Lynn City champions 8-5. They got their second victory in a row, off a forfeit by Magdon. The Spartans softball team remains hot at 17-1, beating Arlington Catholic 11-2 and Gloucester 1-0. Against Arlington, 3 St. Mary's players belted home runs, with Michaela Walker hitting 2, while Anna Fringuelli shut out Gloucester. Their baseball team won again 6-1 over Hamilton Wenham, where 3 Spartans had big days, including Shay Newhall, who went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. They are also ranked 9th in the updated MIAA Power Rankings for Division II. Some late-game heroics by Jason Figueroa on the 8th gave the Lynn English baseball team a 13-10 home win. The whole team contributed hits. In softball, they are on a 5-game winning streak thanks in large part to Leonia Pinheiro, who had a 6-hit week and was just a triple away from hitting for the cycle in a 15-2 victory against Chelsea. Most recently, they topped Revere 11-5, getting out to an early 6-0 lead and never looking back. In the Greater Boston League meet, Bulldogs Track took home first in the 100-meter and 400-meter relay. Lynn Tech Baseball won by default as Chelsea forfeited the game. They then moved to 8-8 with a 14-7 victory against Neshoba, while their softball team was down 21-1 to Northeast Metro as the Tigers scored their only run in the first inning and lost again 19-4 when they traveled to play the Minutemen. Innovation beat the Rams in 5 sets, 3-2 in volleyball. Classical fought hard, tying the sets up 2-2 before losing the final set 10-15. The Tigers then got their first win in program history, shutting out Kip 3-0 before losing to inner-city rival Classical 3-1. In a high-scoring softball game, Lynn Classical fell 16-11 to Medford. Manuel Lizardo impressed with 2 home runs, totaling 4 RBIs for the Rands offense. Despite the loss, they were unfazed, turning up the offense on Revere to score triple the amount of runs, 18-6, before losing again 10-3 to Danvers. Their girls' tennis team fought hard, but lost 3-2. In both first and second singles, Classical won 6-0 and 6-1. Baseball continues their strong year, sitting at 16-2 and blanking Revere 5-0. TJ Walsh was on the mound and had a phenomenal game, going all 7 innings with 5 strikeouts and no walks. The Red Sox said hello to former teammate Xander Bogaerts when they traveled to San Diego to play the Padres. They won the first 2 games 6-1 and 4-2 before dropping the series finale 7-0. Boston is continuing their West Coast trip, being swept by the LA Angels 2-1, 4-0, and 3-7. The Sox offense has stalled, scoring only 4 runs in the past 4 games, courtesy of Masataka Yoshida, Rob Refsnyder, Enrique Hernandez, and Connor Wong. After digging themselves into a 3-0 hole versus the Miami Heat, the Celtics have won the last 2 games to stave off elimination in the Eastern Conference Finals. On the 23rd, Jason Tatum came alive in the second half for 33 points, providing the spark the Boston offense needed. It was a back-and-forth game until the Celtics broke away with a 38-point third, not allowing the Heat to score for the first 4 minutes of the period. Their defense was strong, forcing 15 turnovers and disrupting the Heat's rhythm as several blocks by Grant Williams caused key momentum swings late in the game. On the 25th, it was much of the same, with the Boston defense causing 16 Miami turnovers while also shooting 41% from three-point range. 4 Celtics starters also scored more than 20 points, led by Derek White with 24. Boston is now only 2 wins away from becoming the only team in NBA history to erase a 3-0 game deficit to advance to the finals. This week on The Lowdown, we welcomed Antonio Anderson, a Lynn Tech graduate and former NBA player who has just begun his own foundation in Lynn. Here is The Lowdown. Good morning and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and today we have on a local, Antonio Anderson, to talk about his brand new foundation. Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh no, thanks for having me. Of
course. So we'll ask a quick little bit about your backstory. From Lynn, went to school in Memphis, and you've had quite a journey to get here.
Oh yeah, from here, born and raised, my whole childhood and things of that nature. Grew up in here, just typical Lynn guy. Just love where I'm from and proud to be from here. Always representing it. Getting to Memphis was a great accomplishment, but was able to represent Lynn at the same time. So it made it all worth it.
And basketball is your big sport. Played in college, played a little bit in the league.
Yeah. Basketball was my life. I loved football too growing up, but then chose basketball at the end of my high school career. And like I said, after leaving Memphis, played professionally, domestically, internationally, and then things of that nature. Just got injured and kind of stepped away from it a bit. Got into coaching and started pedaling forward and moving in that direction and trying to now just give back. And when I got into coaching and was able to have some success, so it was good.
Yeah, no, it does. It sounds great. And you coached in Lynn. So which school did you coach for again?
Lynn English. Coached at Lynn English for 4 years. 4 years over there. Did pretty well.
Yeah.
Have some great kids. A ton of support within the school and the city. So it was a great run there.
Oh yeah, Lynn's a big sports city.
Huge.
That makes it all the more fun. And I'll have to ask, you talk about giving back. Is that what originally inspired you to create the foundation?
Yeah, just giving back. I started my foundation, just wanted to be able to help a lot of families in need who really struggle, having a hard time paying for their child to play whatever sport it is, basketball, football, baseball, soccer, lacrosse. Want to be able to be an avenue and outlet for a lot of families who kids don't get the opportunity to play because their parents just don't have the money to do so. That's what kind of what made me want to start my foundation, and then literally just kind of bridge that gap. So parents really got someone to rely on to be able to give their kid opportunity to do so. But a lot of it comes with it. Kids got to have good school attendance and good grades. Just just not going to reward anyone who's not doing what they're supposed to do academically. So, but any way we can be able to give back and make a difference in kids' lives, I'm all for it.
Yes, give back because you're thinking with this foundation, you want to be a mentor a little bit as well. I mean, you've coached, you clearly like doing that.
Yeah, definitely. I know a lot of the kids out here, tons of them. So, I had camps years ago. I'm going to bring those type of things back to the community as well. But these kids their parents know I'm going to message away, whether it's social media or if they have my number, they could reach out to me. Always here to help a kid, help boy, girl, whoever. Literally just, talk to them, about my experiences and giving them and letting them know it's a way out, and you don't got to, do certain things to do so. You can, play sports, you do well in school and kind of pave your own path. And I think a lot of kids just need a push, they need a push. And I'm willing to be there for any kid from Lynn or anywhere, really. But, Lynn is primarily my focus and one of my main places because I'm from here. And I know how hard it is being from here and making it. I just want to be able to give kids a couple of blueprint a little bit of what it's like to get out of here and what it takes. So that's most of what it's about.
Like you said, you got out of here, paved your own path, so it could help kids to really hear that from you because you have the experience. It's not just an obscure goal. You've done it.
Yeah, definitely. It's not easy. It's not easy, but at the same time, it's doable. And like I went to the Boys and Girls Clubs, the YMCA's, the Greg Houses as a kid, the same things that a lot of these kids are doing now. And, that's why you fall in love with the game, like whatever sport you decide to play. You got so many friends from all over the city, different schools, and it's hard to not want to make it when you see people in front of you do certain things. And I think regardless of how the age gap is between me and the younger generation now, the internet is big, so they could just type my name in and see some of the accomplishments, but at the same time, just want to get them to understand like that's good, but it's also wasn't possible if I didn't have, like outlets in Lynn, like to be able to stay out of trouble and do the right thing. So that's what I'm all about. That's what I'm back now, and just being able to lend a hand and be a voice to some kids who need it in any way possible.
Mm-hmm. And your main goal is the kids, but how would people get involved? You mentioned you've gone to businesses, you've gone to other people, like anyone who would want to get involved.
Anyone who want to get involved, they can just reach out to me via social media, email. We got some things, some events coming up. We'd love to have some volunteers. We'd love to have some kids involved. So, any way possible. If they know me personally, they can call me, text me, and I can share some information with them in which ways they can get involved in helping in some of our future events coming up this summer.
Mm-hmm. And I noticed one of the things you mentioned was you wanted to try to collect some supplies to distribute to schools. School supplies, athletic supplies. So did you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, a lot of athletic supplies, school supplies, sports equipment for kids. A lot of kids play football, no cleats. A lot of kids play baseball, no gloves, right? No bat. We just want to be able to provide any tools that's needed for these kids to be successful and not give their parents a worry. So, we had a lot of success. A lot of people have reached out in that term. So just want to just keep building on it. And I think every time we get kids, and we don't do it for the public eye. We're not giving it to a family and taking pictures so the world can see who we're helping. The people who get help, they know who we helped them, and that's what it's about. It's not about a pat on the back for me. It's about really just giving kids opportunities to have things or do things that they weren't able to afford, or to be able to participate in something they couldn't because of a financial burden. And we just want to change that and bridge that gap so all these kids are able to do things.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, it is. It's very admirable what you do, and like you said, you can let them be kids a little bit too, and have fun in sports, be able to do something without having to worry so much.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think the more active you are as a kid, you're playing all these sports, the less time you have to get in trouble. And I think the more you're able to get out there and just enjoy it, being a kid, being a teenager, high school or whatever it is, playing football, basketball, baseball, hockey, whatever. You know, it just gives you don't have much time to get involved in the wrong thing. So I think the more active they are, the more they stay involved, and the more they'll end up loving one of them, whether they go to college or do it or not. You know, that sport always gets kids to kind of do the right thing academically. You gotta remain eligible to play. Mm-hmm. But if you get them young and they create good habits to get good grades all the way through, they really won't barely be making it. They'll sustain a good GPA, in which they'll understand the importance of getting to college and what that process is like, what they look for. And that's a bunch of the programs we will be pouring into the community and getting kids to understand the college admission process and taking college visits and tours so they can get the visual at a young age instead of waiting to high school when it can be too late sometimes. So a lot of that's in store for these kids, and I'm excited for it.
Mm-hmm. So you're not really focused on a specific age group per se. It's all kids, more or less?
All kids that need help. Our main target is elementary and middle school kids. Trying to get to the younger generations. A lot of people who do a lot of things with everyone. A good friend of mine, Tony Seaforth, works with a lot of the high school kids. So I'm really attacking that 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade range of all genders. So to be able to get them to fall in love with something, even if it's not athletics, fall in love with academics, fall in love with the process, fall in love with volunteering, giving back, and just making a difference. So I feel that we can get our hands on them and teach them young, at a young age, what it's like to be involved. They'll carry this with them, and it will just keep going, it will just move on. And eventually one of these kids will be able to work for us one day and do a lot of internships. We want to do a lot of things to be able to help kids. So those are the areas that we're targeting early to try to get them acclimated so when they get to high school, they're not struggling. Because high school can be tough when you first walk in. So just want to be able to have them alert of what's expected and what they would need to do. So those are the areas that we're pretty much targeting.
Great. And you mentioned a few things for this summer coming up that you're thinking of trying to put together. Are there any specific things that you have?
We're basketball camps. I'm gonna try to get a camp for all sports. Nice. Get some of these coaches involved, and we run some clinics for kids. So whether it's hockey, whether it's baseball, and do those things with a lot of the high school coaches, and everybody's involved with these kids. It makes a difference. So those are just some of the little things I would love to do to be able to get things going out here.
It does. The whole thing sounds fantastic, and I think it is quite amazing. And because you talked about before, you said you're focused on Lynn, but Memphis and Lynn, can you say both made you into who you are today? Yeah,
Memphis as well. That played a huge part of my life. I've spent 4 years there, then after college I lived there for 3. So I spent a lot of time there, got a lot of great friendships there, and did a lot in the community there as well. So being able to put my hands back on that city means a lot. Being from Lynn, but also having the love that I get in Memphis, it means the world to me. So being able to give back to those kids in some of those communities who need the same help as kids in Lynn means a lot. I got some of my college teammates who live there helping me out that way. So, got it going, man. We got it going. I got an event out there May 25th. So flying down there for that, just try to keep these kids alert and just try to make a difference. That's the biggest thing for us.
The whole thing, it sounds amazing, and I want to thank you again for coming on to talk about it and share a little bit about your passion.
Oh, no, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Anytime.
Great. And once again, this has been the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and we'll see you next time with more guests. Next up, the community calendar. In celebration of Memorial Day, the City of Lynn is hosting a ceremony and procession on Monday, May 29th. People can begin to gather at Manning Field at 1 p.m. with step-off at 1:30. The procession goes from the field to Pine Grove Cemetery, where there will be a ceremony. All veterans, youth groups, and community members are welcome to join the Lynn Veterans Council on the procession. Friday, June 2nd, Gala is hosting the opening reception for the LGBTQ+ Pride Flag and Color Symbolism exhibit. It will run for the entirety of Pride Month and part of July until July 12th. The exhibit focuses on the symbolism of the colors in the Pride Flag, which was first created by Gilbert Baker and debuted on June 25, 1978. That same night, the Music and Movement exhibit also has its opening reception. It calls for the interpretation of music through art making, while also visually creating movement to the beat of a drum or finding inspiration in a song. As part of the park cleanup series, the DPW will be at Gallagher Park from 9 to 11 a.m. Anyone wishing to volunteer can head down to help clean up the park that Saturday morning. Supplies are provided and hours can be counted towards community service. That completes the news for this week. For more information about these events, as well as press releases and videos, visit linntv.org. Also follow us on social media at Lynn Community Television to stay up to date on what is happening in the city. And subscribe to Lynn Community Television for our latest videos, interviews, and content. I'm Dani Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.